to DropStitches podcast. I'm Sapphire Child.
I'm Impact Red.
Welcome. Cheers.
Cheers.
Today we're having, oh man, I shouldn't have picked this. Now I'm going to have to say the words. Carpignetto, we'll guess. It's an Italian wine, and that's the name of the winery. It's an Indicazole Geographica Typica, and this is some kind of classification recognized by the government of Italy. And it was created to recognize the unusually, I'm reading from Wiki, the unusually high quality of the class of wines known as Super Tuscans. And these wines are labeled with also the locality of their creation. And this one is labeled Greve in Chianti, Italy. Assuming I'm saying these words correctly, of course. Anyway, this one is a blend of grapes, Chardonnay, 40% Chardonnay, 30% Brachetto, and 30% Sauvignon Blanc. And so it's estate farmed on hillside vineyards that are grown with dry farming, which I believe just means minimal to no irrigation. It's a technique that's also practiced in California. I've heard about it in conjunction with some moving on.
So that means if they have a dry year, they have a bad crop. They have good enough rain, they have a good crop. Is that what that means?
Yeah, I mean, maybe they make exceptions if you have a drought year, if they can, but they minimize irrigation. But I think the idea with that, this is my theory, right? I haven't actually done any reading on this, but my theory, well first of all, it obviously makes your work easier, right? Because there's less stuff you have to do. But when you overly irrigate a fruit crop, all it really does is absorb more water into the fruit. So yeah, you get bigger fruit, but it's just diluted in terms of flavor. You see this like in those giant blueberries. That's the best example I can give. The giant blueberries that they sell in the grocery store, and they have absolutely no flavor. And if you get blueberries that are wild or just growing in your backyard, or non-irrigated blueberries, essentially, they're smaller, but they're much more intense in terms of their flavor. And I'm assuming it's the same effect with the grapes. That yeah, you have less water, but you have a concentration of the other chemical products that the grape produces, so you have more flavor.
Yeah. So you get the same amount of flavor, just a smaller fruit.
Right. So, but that also means that you probably get less wine out of it, but you therefore can potentially get a better wine out of it. I'd say this one is actually pretty good. We were just discussing how it's a very nice summer wine because it's very light, and it is a dry wine, but it's not oaked as far as I can. It doesn't taste like it has any oak in it at all, so they may not have ever put this in oak casks. But it doesn't have that tinny taste that a lot of those stainless steel wines have. So I'm not quite clear on how they've fermented, how they've dealt with the wine, but it comes out quite nicely. It does have a bit of acidity to it. It has a little bit of an acid finish, but not intensely so. It's very pleasant. And on the bottle, it says pleasantly fruity, elegantly aromatic, and shows good body and agreeable acidity. And I think that is accurate. It's a very easy drinking wine. We've decided it goes very good with butter cookies.
That's true. We just had some.
And so therefore it would probably also go well with shrimp and things of that nature. Probably not so much with the red meat, but
Chicken.
Yeah.
A nice
or with
picnic
dessert
wine.
Picnic wine, and it is very good chilled. I stuck it in the freezer because I thought we were going to start earlier. It ended up spending 2 hours in the freezer, so it's ice cold. But
so
that's
we can't
okay.
we can't get the full flavor out of it, but
Yeah.
it is very good.
It's starting to warm up though, so
Yeah.
you're starting to get a little more flavor out of it. But
by the
it's a
end
good
of the
wine.
show, we can probably give a better review on how we like the taste.
But we'll probably forget, so
Yeah.
just so you know. And it comes in a pretty bottle.
Yeah, it's a very pretty bottle.
I got this. This was in a wine club. That's how I got it. And
think
I
that's neat.
literally picked it for this just because it came in a pretty bottle.
You have to look and see if there's a wine club near where I live. I don't know. There's not really. I mean, they do it differently. Where the liquor stores in Virginia are different. So you have the liquor store, which is owned by the state, and then, well, I guess you don't get wine there. So then you go to the grocery store to get your wine. So it's not.
Well, the one that I get it's from Spin the Bottle, and that's a little boutique type kind of shop. It's like a hole in the wall, and they have fun with it. They look for interesting and new things. And
Do they taste them all before they give it to you, or they just say this looks interesting, let's get it?
I don't know, but Mark, the guy who owns the place, and his, well, I don't know, I've never met his partner, I don't think, but Mark has been in the wine industry for many years, so he has a lot of experience with it. So I'm inclined to think he actually knows what he's talking about and what he's doing. And I think he does taste most of them. I don't know if he tastes all of them, but they, like any other shop, they have reps that come in and this is the stuff we're distributing, and you try this out, and then you buy a couple of cases. And so
That's true.
the way he does it is the wine club. Every month they put together for everybody a box of 6 bottles, and you can have all red or all white or mix, and I just get a mix. You pay a flat fee, and usually you end up getting a pretty good deal. I can't remember how much, if it's 60 or 90 I think it's 60, $10 a bottle, essentially, for the club. And most of the wines retail for more than $10 a bottle, so it's a pretty nice deal, and it's an easy way to try stuff that you might not otherwise buy.
Yeah.
And I've had some pleasant surprises out of it, like some things that for whatever reason, like it's a type of grape that I'm not particularly fond of, or just bottles that would have never caught my eye, which sounds stupid, but realistically, when you walk into a shop and there's 100 bottles of wine, what do? You look around for things and things that catch your eye. I mean,
Yeah.
so,
And I always wind up buying the things I know. Because I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't know. I mean, I guess every once in a while I've tried a new one, but usually it's the things I've already tried, or a type of wine that I've already tried.
Yeah, like a grape that you're familiar with, and you know that I like this kind of thing, and so you buy more of it, and it's an easy way to shop. But so yeah, look for a little boutique shop like that, because he also does tastings every Friday. He tastes either wine or beer, so you can get in and taste a couple of different things that you might not have ever tried on your own, and expand your horizons and buy something new, try something new to taste. His tastings are free. I don't know if everybody does it that way, but anyway, blah blah blah, blah 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 blah. Yeah, so I think this wine is good.
Mm-hmm.
Somehow we're already through half the bottle.
Amazingly. Don't know how that happens. It just does.
I don't know how this happens.
You see how small our glasses are, so I'm not sure how we do it.
I don't know. I'm totally a social drinker, though. I will drink wine by myself, but I'll drink a glass by myself.
That's what I do at home. I just drink one glass, and then the bottle will last 3 or 4 days.
Yeah.
Just one glass a day at dinner or something.
Yeah.
When I have it, because I don't have it every day. But
Yeah. And therefore, we're not alcohol.
it's not an everyday.
It's not every day, and it's not more than 1 glass. Special occasions are okay.
Podcast.
Unfortunately, we only do this once a month.
That's right.
Our vices aside, should we go on to finished objects?
Yeah,
You should totally show your cow.
I will. So I finished my hat from the knit along finally, but I don't know if you all can tell. It's like tiny.
Demonstrate.
Put it on your head.
It
doesn't quite fit. So what happened was I forgot to repeat the 20 rows, and I was so happy because I finished it. I guess it was last week. We went to Cape Cod on vacation, and I finished it on the way there, and I was like so excited that I finished my hat finally. And then I'm like, it looks a little small. Maybe it'll stretch out when I wash it. And then I put it on my head. I'm like, yeah, that's not going to stretch out. And then I went back and looked at the instructions again and realized that, oh, I never repeated those 20 rows. Whoops. So I have a nice child-size hat that I'm going to give away. And
It is really cute.
It is really cute. I love
It's a
the
nice
color.
yarn, I have to say. That was, according to our notes, Patton's Classic Wool Worsted in Passion Heather.
Yeah, it's really, really pretty.
It's nice yarn. You should have plenty left over for another hat.
Yeah, because I have a whole skein and then whatever's left in the ball after this. And I was supposed to make the gloves, but I've decided I'm going to make another hat correctly so I can wear it. Because I really, really like the color.
You might go up in needle size too, because this looks like it's a little bit
Really
tight around. Oh, I don't know. It looked like it was tight when you put it on your head, but maybe
It might be tight.
I might just be reacting to its height more than its width.
It could be tight.
You know
I don't
what I
know.
mean?
Yeah, since I can't pull it down, I can't tell.
It's a really nice look for you.
As it slowly goes, like goes to my head. So anyway, but I love the pattern and I love the color of this yarn.
It is really pretty.
It's
really
pretty.
purple.
And I got it at Joann's surprisingly, which I wouldn't think I'd get something
Well,
like so much at Joann's.
I have to say, Patton's they make nice yarns.
Yeah.
They're inexpensive yarns. They're not, they're not fancy or anything, but
Yeah, I don't
they're
remember
good
how much I
workhorse
paid for it.
yarns.
But it's wool. I mean, it's whatever it is, merino blend or something. I don't remember what it is now, but it's nice. It doesn't itch. So which I like because the harsher wools make me itch, so I can't wear them.
Is it? Patton's makes some merino blends, and they make some that are just like a generic medium wool blend. I don't remember which one's which.
It doesn't feel itchy.
No, especially not in a hat. You're not gonna notice it.
Yeah, that's true.
If it's gonna be itchy, it'll be itchy here.
Yeah,
Unless it's like super itchy.
Yeah. So I really like it, but it's too small, so I'm going to give it away. But I love the color.
But it's your second FO.
Yay!
Yay! Cheers.
Thank you. So my second finished project is this special little creature right here, which I don't think y'all can really see. Here he is. Put him right here in front of the camera. Sit up straight, mister. Straighten your legs out. That's right. Hello. So this is a baby shower stork. And I've made these many years ago, and I pulled out, because I had some that weren't quite finished from years ago when I first made these, because I'm actually going to be a grandma. Yay for me. My son is, I know, my first grandbaby. My son is having his first in September. And so when I was looking for, I forget what I was pulling out of the garage, but I found these. I'm like, oh, I forgot all about my storks. So I pulled this out and finished him off. And this is him. And
beak wire? No.
No, it's just got
interface.
yeah, it's just got interface in it. And then this basket right here, if he sits up straight like he's supposed to, this basket right here will be filled with like baby shampoo and Desitin and
Necessities.
yeah, the ear things and all that stuff that you need for babies. So it's exciting. Her first baby shower is next weekend, and so we're all excited. And so this is the stork I'm going to bring and fill it with all the little baby stuff. So I'm excited. And for all of you watching who don't know yet, yes, I'm having my first grandbaby. I don't think I've told everybody yet, so or at least I haven't mentioned it, but most people know.
Very exciting.
It is very exciting. So
This is
Mr.
first
Stork.
of the next generation.
Yeah,
it's
in
also
our family.
our parents' first great grandchild.
Yeah, it's our parents' first great grandchild.
So very, very exciting.
Yeah, and Eddie's first.
Eddie's first
On both sides of the family. So
oh
both,
yeah, his dad's family.
Yeah, his dad's family and my family, the first great grandchild. So, and Eddie's great granddad is still alive. No, his great granddad is still alive.
Wow, really?
Right. So they could have Eddie's baby, Eddie's dad, and Eddie's great grandfather all in a picture.
That's awesome.
Isn't that awesome?
So I better do it.
Yeah. So that's what they're planning on doing.
They're planning on it. Okay.
Yeah. I think that would be really neat. And
Yeah.
we did that when, I guess when Eddie was born, his great grandmother was still alive, but we never got to meet her because she was in another state. But it's pretty amazing how, I guess, the longevity of that family.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I didn't know they had such good genetics.
Mhm.
Wow.
Yeah. So, anyway, that's my finished projects.
Yay! Okay, I'll do mine now.
On to Julia.
All right, so I have. Let me move my little basket over here. Okay, so I have a Holden.
Oh, I made one. No. Ha. You gave me one of those.
Yeah,
I was going to say, I made one of those, but I didn't make it. You gave it to me.
that was with a Shalimar yarn, right, at the brown.
It's a brown.
And so this is.
This looks very soft. It's not quite soft.
It's not quite. So this is the Holden pattern by Mindy Wilkes.
I think I just need to get this pattern and make this.
Yeah, you can get it on Ravelry. I can't remember if it's free or not.
It's really pretty. I like that.
It might be. But anyway, it's not expensive. Of course.
Is it an easy pattern?
I think so because it's almost all stockinette, and then when you get down here, you know, there's not a lot to keep track of when you get down here.
Yeah.
So you've got, you know, some decreases in knits and decreases in knits, and you do that, and then every other row is just purl across. It's like nothing complicated on the reverse side ever. And then you know, you do the one row with the eyelets, and you just repeat that. So it's a really simple repeat. And then on yours, I didn't put the picket edge on it because I ran out of yarn on the one that I made her. But I did do it on this one.
So how did you finish mine? You just finished it with
I
whatever.
just did a regular bind off.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I like mine, and I like this too. So it turned out really well.
Yeah, it works both ways. Yeah. But this yarn is from Green Mountain Spinnery, and it's the Simply Fine, which is a wool mohair single, which is why it's not exceptionally soft. I think is the mohair in it. I'm not very partial to mohair myself, although occasionally I do find some that is really nice. But
nice color.
yeah, it's a natural. I think it's naturally colored, natural gray. And it kind of comes out as a gradient. And the whole reason I bought this skein at the New York Rhinebeck last fall. I think it was last fall. Because they had an example in their booth of this pattern in this color. And I loved it. I thought it was neat how it managed to grade down to the white right at the edge. And somehow I managed to pull a skein that had pretty much the same color progression. Yeah. I don't think they do that on purpose. I think they vary. But I like it. I think it adds to the effect.
Yeah.
So, I think it is a pretty simple pattern. I like triangular shawls with a little bit of lace on the edge. You're usually pretty straightforward like this because. So I knitted this one mostly while I was in Boston for a conference recently, just while I was sitting in lectures, you know, in the mornings, because this whole portion of it, which is all stockinette, there's not a lot of thought. I mean, it's just a rhythm you get into and you just go. and then even when you get down to the bottom, there's not much complexity, but by the time I got to the bottom, I was back home. So it didn't take me very long to knit, so it would probably be, if you want to make one, probably be good. And this is one skein, so any skein of sock yarn works for that. Okay, so the second I have is the Frisian pattern by Brittany Wilson, and this is hand spun. This is spun from a hobbledehoy classic bats, and the colorway was called cuckoo, whatever.
It's really pretty.
Yeah, and so it's sort of so those classic bats she sells, it's like 3 little bats, and I arranged them so that it sort of comes out like a gradient, sort of, but not quite.
You start at one corner and then move forward.
Exactly. You start over here with this pattern in the corner, so you cast on like 3 stitches or something like this, and then you just increase and increase, and the rows go this way, and
so it looks like you're doing the rows like this, but you're really doing them like this?
They can't see where you're pointing.
Oh, yeah. So it looks like you're doing them like this, but you're really doing them like this?
Well, you can see where the color is, like here on the purple.
Oh, yeah, okay.
That helps.
So it does kind of follow the pattern a little bit.
Yeah, it's just not as obvious when you get up to this side because it's smaller, I guess. So, but you can look at it and you can see there's the purple right there, so you can see where how it works.
Yeah.
Even though it's
That's
natural
a pretty pattern.
way is to like curve like that. So
I've seen this pattern before. I almost bought it.
it's a pattern that came out recently, and I think I snapped it up when she had like a release sale on it. I don't remember if it was she had it free briefly or if it was discounted briefly, and I bought it then. And I would say it's a great pattern for hand spun or anything that has a lot of color because it's not real complex. So you don't spend a lot of time knitting structure and then lose it. But I'm pleased with it.
Yeah, it's really pretty. I like
and
it.
I think it works out well with this yarn. This particular yarn, I spun it as a single, and then I felted it a bit, like on purpose. I rough finished it so it would felt a little bit. And when I did that, there's pictures on my Ravelry page, but when I did that and it came out, it looked ugly. I mean, it looked like dreadlocks. And I actually had to pull the strands apart a little bit when I was winding it into a ball, and for a while I was like, I'm going to do it. This yarn, it's kind of ugly. But you know what? It really works this way, because you can see the colors and it just looks velvety in the end. So it doesn't look.
Yeah, it does.
It doesn't look mangy like it did to me in the skein.
Yeah. It has it's a textured finish. But it's a light texture. It's not a heavy, like it's not really bulky, but it's just really nice.
And it's because it's all garter stitch, it's like really stretchy and it's lively. But from the felting, it doesn't actually have any twist energy left in it, so that's gone. But this is my first knitting with single hand spun, non-plied hand spun. I mean, obviously I've knitted with purchased single yarn, but I've never, there's this yarn and the yarn that I showed you guys last time that I spun from a Knit Spin Farm bat, and those are the only 2 times I've ever spun a single.
Have you made anything with that yet?
No, but I'm gonna do collapse weave with it. I just haven't taken the time to size the singles. So there's this thing you do so when you weave with singles yarns, I have done that before, and they stick to each other. They shred and they stick to each other, and so it's kind of a pain. And so what people normally do when they weave with singles is they put a sizing on it. and there's different things you can do, but one of the recipes I saw called for using xanthan gum, which I have.
Really?
Yeah, and it's just like, well, some people use starch. You know, it's just a starch to keep the fibers that are loose on the surface stuck down, so the yarn is more solid, and it doesn't abrade as much.
So how do you apply it? How do you apply the starch? Is it like you make it wet and then you like brush it on your yarn? How do you?
Well, the ones, I guess if you use spray starch, you just spray it. But for the xanthan gum and the cornstarch kind of things I've seen, you just make a solution and soak the yarn in it.
Oh, okay, so it's after it's done. Okay.
Yeah. Well, just as yarn before you weave it.
Okay.
And then hang it up to dry, like squeeze it out and then hang it up to dry. But the reason I haven't done it yet is because they show what I read, I think, I don't remember where I read it, but they talked about winding it such that the strands are flat and they don't really touch each other very much, so they don't stick to each other, and that just sounds like such a hassle, so I haven't done it yet. I'll probably not do that, and I'll probably end up having to pull my strands apart. But I thought the idea of using xanthan gum was great because, of course, I have it for the gluten-free cooking, but I can't stand it. It gives a horrible texture and it has a flavor, and so I won't use it in my cooking anymore.
I use it all the time, so.
I don't. I can't stand it. Well, I shouldn't say I can't stand it. I don't prefer it because obviously I buy things that are gluten-free that have xanthan gum in it because it's popular. But
I've tried to cook with arrowroot.
I don't find that works as well. But that's why
I didn't find that worked as well.
That's why I'm such a fan of coconut flour.
Okay.
Because it's so very absorbent, it basically has the same effect. So if you add a bit of coconut flour as a portion of your flour mixture, it seems to take care of it.
I didn't know that.
And the thing of every time, I might not be using this xanthan gum right. I should say that, because obviously there are lots of commercial things out there and homemade things that use xanthan gum, and they're okay, right? They're not bad. But whenever I've cooked with it, I end up with something that's flat and spongy. I shouldn't even say spongy. It is gummy. I don't like the texture at all. And so I avoid using it. So I've got a bag of xanthan gum, and I bought it several years ago when they only sold it in the big bags, which is ridiculous because you only need a little bit, right?
Yeah.
So I thought, this is great. I can use this stuff, and it can stop taking up space in my refrigerator.
That is good. That sounds hard to wind your yarn so it doesn't touch each other. I mean, how in the world can you do a skein yarn like that?
I don't. Well, they showed it on 2 PVC pipes like this.
So they just wound it like this.
Yeah, with minimal touching, and so they just spread it out. But it just, I can't visualize doing it, so I probably won't do it. I'll probably just soak the skein, and maybe I'll use less than they say, so it's enough, not quite enough.
Yeah.
And then just hang it to dry like a regular skein, so the weight will pull the kinks out. Yeah. Or maybe I'll even hang a weight on it to pull the kinks out, because it's a single with energy. This other yarn is a single with energy in it, and it'll kink back up on itself if it doesn't have a weight.
Well, the good thing about xanthan gum is if it doesn't work, you just soak it and probably
just wash it back out.
Right, and start over again.
I hope it's that simple. But that's the theory, right? So you put it on there, and it keeps the yarn more stable and less sticking to itself, in the weaving process. And then you just wash it when you're done, the finished object.
Yeah.
You just wash it, and the stuff is supposed to come out. And then the yarn still has energy, and then the fibers do what you expect fibers to do, which is return to their natural shape, right? Because you can straighten hair, but it will always curl back up once it gets wet and dries again. Yeah. And so it does the same thing. And that's how collapse weave works, right? You stretch it out and you weave it into something, and then you wash it, and it returns to its natural shape, and it sort of kinks up again. But it can only kink up so far because it's got all its neighbors that it has to deal with too, so you end up with a three-dimensional piece of fabric. So I've never done that before. Although I have woven with singles before, they didn't really have any energy in them, so so it didn't really collapse. So I want to do it a real collapse weave because it's a really neat looking fabric. So maybe I'll get it done at some point because I know Joanna wants to see what it looks like. Anyway, that's enough jabber. So my last finished object. Isn't that awesome how we can take all this time to talk about just a few finished objects? We've got some hand spun. This is from a braid, a merino silk braid that I got from Hobbledehoy, I think at the Maryland Sheep and Wool Festival just this year. And that's pretty. Can you see? It's very far away. So there's like a teal blue and some dark teal, and then there's like a lighter shade of the same, and there's like some pinky red kind of thing going on there. Yeah. And this is the colorway name is Jetpack. 80% wool, 20% silk, and I got approximately 620 yards. I don't normally count them, so it's an estimate. So it's like a fat silk, a fat lace weight kind of a thing. So I don't know at all what I'm going to do with it. It will probably stripe in whatever it's made into, but I don't think they're not going to be like regular stripes, and I have no idea. It was just one of those things that I saw it and bought it, and it was like, it's pretty, and I spun it, and now I don't know what to do with it. This happens to me a lot. Seemed like a good idea at the time. I mean, I'm happy with the yarn. It's very pretty. I think I spun this on my Hanson Crafts mini spinner, spun and plied. Anyway.
Do you favor that one? Do you wind up spinning a lot on that, or is it?
I spin a lot on that, but I do spin on my other wheels too. So I actually have 4 wheels now. One of them isn't operational yet, so I have a Kromsky Mazurka, which I have rigged up with a crochet cotton drive band, and I use it exclusively for spinning fine weight, like lace weight or cobweb weight kind of yarns. And that was my first wheel. And then my second was a wheel I bought from this guy on Etsy, and it's the Morning Street wheel is what he called it, and it's an attractive little tripod kind of design, bobbin lead, and I bought it to spin long draw because it's bobbin lead, and that seems to work well with long draw, and it does. I use that one a lot too. And then I bought the Hanson Crafts mini spinner, which is totally awesome. And I use that for a variety of things, but I'm tending to spin a lot of fine weight yarns recently, or finer weight yarns. And so I do a lot of that on there. And I also use that thing for plying. And then recently I bought at a yard sale, or an estate sale, I bought a Clems Modern. And that's a pretty chunky looking machine. It's not elegant at all. And the one I bought has been abused. Like it was left in a basement, and when we were at the estate sale, we had to scour the house for all the bits. Like the base was in the basement, the other stuff was elsewhere. And the people who were running the estate sale had no idea what the thing was until we put it together. And my Mr. Awesome, talked him down on the price. We bought it for less than $30, but I have to buy replacement parts for it, so it's going to end up costing me a couple $100 anyway. But that's fine, because that's a $700 wheel. So I don't know what I'm going to do with that one once it gets put back together. I'll probably spin on it for a little while and see what I feel about it, but I might end up selling it. So anyway, yeah, I use the Hanson Crafts a lot, but I do use my other wheels as well. They're not neglected.
Yeah. I just think the Hanson Crafts is so portable. You can just take it anywhere, and it's, you know, it's just so easy to use. Probably that's what I was asking.
It is. It also makes you a people magnet. If you take a Hanson Crafts, well, if you take any spinning wheel into public, people will stare. But the Hanson Crafts wheel just attracts people to you. It seems like you set that thing out on a table. I did this once at a family party, no less. And this is people who are accustomed to my weirdness, right? And I plop the thing on the table, and it's the first time most of them has seen it. And the next thing you know, everybody in the room is around me, asking me questions about this wheel. And there were people there also that, you know, kind of extended family that aren't accustomed to this behavior, right? and so, but everybody had to come over and see the wheel and ask me questions about it. And you get all the normal questions like, what are you doing and how does it work and why are you doing that? But then, of course, as usual, after about 5 or 10 minutes of total silence where everybody's staring, you know, totally hypnotized by the movement and the color. And then it always amazes me that people will stand there and stare at you like, literally like they're hypnotized, and then ask you why you do that. Well, for the same reason that you're transfixed. It's wild, right? You see all this color and there's movement and it's you making things with your hands, and you know, it's very satisfying work. Anyway, so we're probably running pretty long, aren't we?
I don't know.
Does that even tell us a time?
Right here. 38 minutes.
Oh, that's
not
not
too bad.
Yeah, that's not bad at all for us. All right, let's move into works in progress. What you got?
I have one works in progress that fell off the table. This is something I showed. I think I showed it before.
Yeah, you showed it before when you were getting started.
Oh, that's right.
We at least talked about it.
It was orange fabric then, and as you can see, I'm not using the orange fabric.
Oh, you mean the fabric you were going to put on it?
Yeah.
Right.
So
because you showed that fabric to family members, and everybody wanted something made out of that fabric, right?
Yeah, I have to make something with that, and so I have to, most likely like a purse type deal, and so it's not going on my sweatshirt. And I had, this is part of my craft group, so I had specific instructions, like I couldn't do like one whole side completely in one fabric, or you know, it had to be something like trying to think out of the box, which is really difficult for me for this type of thing, because I'm more of a symmetrical type person. So, yeah.
That's a lot. I didn't know the craft group had that many rules.
Well, it depends. She can, I mean, Janet's our leader. So, I
you
mean,
get graded on this stuff?
No. It's just for fun. So we just do what we're told, you know, and try to make the project. So I'm trying to make the project, and so this is the back, and here's one of the sleeves.
What do you call this? The upgraded sweatshirt?
Yeah, something like that. And you can kind of see the shape taking form. It's taking. Usually, I only work on this at my craft group, and
we should review. Yeah. So the project was upgraded sweatshirt.
Yeah, upgraded sweatshirt.
And what she started with an old sweatshirt that she cut apart.
Yeah.
And is using it like a template.
Yeah, this is the inside. So everything gets sewn to this. And so when it's finished, this will still be the inside. And the outside will be changed. And it'll be kind of like a jacket once it's done.
So I think it'll be with all that brocade.
Yeah, no, it's really heavy. And this is the front. And one sleeve. And the other sleeve.
And you just have everything tacked on right now.
Yeah, right now I have it with like a basting stitch, and I've kind of trimmed the fabric a little bit to match the shape of the sweatshirt. And then the next piece will be to start sewing it on permanently and then attaching either decorative stitching or, what do you call that stuff? Binding, not binding, but stuff. I don't know what it's called.
Like that braid stuff,
yeah,
and
like
lace
the braid
and
stuff,
beads and
yeah.
whatnot.
Yeah, so that'll be somewhere on it.
Funky
Maybe
buttons.
funky buttons or appliques, which I don't think I'll probably do appliques with mine because mine already has a lot of stuff. Yeah, a lot of stuff going on here. So it's not like a solid piece of fabric. It's stripes, or this is like stripes with stuff on it. So really, putting an applique on here probably wouldn't look. I just don't think it would work. But we'll see. But I do have all different kinds of lace trims and like upholstery trims. You know, you put on the couches and curtains and things like that. So
is this gonna be like the dress made out of the green curtains? Gone with the Wind, Scarlet's dress.
Gone with the Wind. Yeah, I have one piece of used fabric. I don't think any of this is used yet, but it's
These are like scraps from other projects.
Yeah, these are like scraps from other projects, or someone got like one of the ladies in the craft group. I guess someone had lots and lots of upholstery fabric, and they just were getting rid of it, and she took it. So a lot of this came from her stash, except for this little purple piece right here, which is a used piece of fabric from one of my pants. Because I needed a piece of fabric to go right here, and I couldn't find anything to go. And I'm like, well, the purple goes. That's about all I can find. So that's the only piece that's actually used. Everything else has not been used.
Use what you have.
Yeah, I'm like, it goes well. So, and that is my current project in progress. Which I think I've been working on this for what? Did I start in January? I don't know if I started in January. But I've started since we started this podcast. So
yeah,
maybe that was like the second episode. Or, I don't really remember.
I don't remember. I just remember you coming in with your little yellow flowered suitcase. It was full of fabric. Vintage suitcase.
My vintage suitcase. Which
yeah, it was like this big, right, from when she was a kid.
And I still use it.
And I remember looking at that thing and thinking, it would be nice if that's all I needed for a weekend.
I know, me too. I'm thinking, we would go on vacation for a week. Now, I was like young, so I was under 15.
Your stuff was smaller, right?
I used it until we stopped going to Covington for a week.
Yeah, I remember being a kid, and it's like, when you packed, it was just like you needed a couple of pairs of underwear and another shirt and maybe another pair of pants. It's like you could get by. Pants last forever. And I don't know.
I don't know how
nowadays, it's like I have a suitcase just to go away for 3 days, and I'm worried about how am I going to get everything into it, and where am I going to put my knitting, and I have to get on an airplane with this thing. And
I know.
It's very stressful. This is why I like to travel in my car better, because I can just chuck anything I think I might want into the trunk and go. And I don't have to worry about space limitations like when you get on the airplane.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. I like going with places where you only have to take like jeans and stuff. Going to places where you have to like have dress clothes, that's when it gets really complicated.
Yeah.
Because then you're like, well, maybe I don't want to wear that shirt that day. Maybe I want to wear a different shirt.
I
so
know.
Like 3
How do you know in advance?
That's right.
I'm so fickle.
I don't feel like wearing that today.
I can't be doing that. Or the worst thing is when I went to Boston, my friend and I were going to go out to dinner the first night we were there, my friend Shayna and I. And so we're going to dress up and we're going to go out and have a nice dinner. And we did. And, went to an expensive jewelry shop and went to dinner and, all these things. And so we had to pack clothes that we could dress up in. And it was this big to-do for me, like, what am I going to take? And then when I get there, it ended up being cold. And so I wasn't even, she had to lend me a sweater because although I had brought sweaters, none of them went with the clothes I brought to dress up in. Like, not at all. And so she's just like, here, take this.
Yeah, we've had that too. We used to go to Cape Cod, and it would always be, like, we went in June one year, and it was cold, so it was the first year we went, and all we had was shorts and t-shirts. And like, we get there and we're like, oh my gosh, it's like 60 degrees or whatever it was, I don't know. But so we had to go out and buy jackets. Everybody had to buy jackets, hoodies, because we were all freezing. And then, and we've gone there in the wintertime, and it's warm. Warmer than, you can't wear a winter coat. So we rolled up our jeans, and we went like just wading up to our calves or whatever in the water. And it's just amazing how.
And we're such wimps now. I'm sure when we were kids, we'd be like, that's fine. Now it's cold. It's cold and there's wet stuff.
That's true. I remember when I was younger, we always packed a long pair of pants, one long pair of pants and one sweatshirt. Because every morning when you get up, because I would get up at like 6.
Oh, yeah.
And it was cold.
When we went to the mountains. Yeah, but in the mountains, it is cold. Even in August. In the morning when you get up, it's cold and it's foggy. You need a sweatshirt and you need pants.
By 10, you're out of them in shorts.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
That's nice.
And that's where I want to live.
Yeah, really. Are you going to talk about your Magrathea, your orange shawl? Or you don't want to deal with it?
I brought it.
So you see the grinding of the teeth?
I know, and it's
not a happy place.
No, it's not a happy place for me. So, it's here, in this. So,
maybe you should reinvent that yarn as a Holden and come back to Magrathea another time. She's ripped it out again.
Millions of times, I think, anyway. And I actually changed my needles, too, because I thought, well, maybe the
it's
metal needles.
Fortunate for you that you're using this Miss Babs sock yarn that can take some use.
Yeah, I'd have to cut off like 2 yards of it, if not, because I haven't gotten any farther than that. But I just keep, I guess I'm still working on this, as you can see. I haven't got very far. Obviously, I can't wear that. And I just keep on having problems with it, so I don't know if it's a pattern that's just too advanced for me, or I don't know.
So I think in the beginning there was a misunderstanding.
Yeah.
Which is nobody's fault. It's just
right. I was doing yarn overs wrong, and then I was doing another stitch wrong. Well, I thought I could just deal with that, and then when I went back to it after setting it aside for a while, I'm like, no, I'm just going to start over again. So I started over again, and then this is also on the Cape Cod trip. I must have started over at least 5 times, and then I put it aside again. So, I guess that's the best I can say about it. So I'm not really sure. It says it's an intermediate pattern, but I just don't know if it's too advanced for me. So, Julie's going to help me.
You've not done anything with yarn overs and that kind of thing before, have you?
Yeah, I've never done any, because it makes holes, so I've never done anything where it's supposed to make holes and lacy type.
Well, you did the color affection and the hat. That's
pretty much
really
it.
good.
Have I made any? Oh, and a scarf. I did a scarf too.
All right, yeah.
That's that's all I've done in a year and a half.
But it's not like it's the only thing you do.
Well, no, it's not. So anyway, Julie's going to help me with the stitches because I just can't get them.
Yeah, we're going to have a go at it.
Unfortunately. So that is still my work in progress, and I thought I'd show you how far I've gotten. Which I think is a negative of last time I showed you this.
It was bigger last time, I'm afraid. That's okay. Sometimes it goes that way.
But I still love the color, and I still love the pattern.
Oh, I was going to show, there's a thing that I've been working on for over a year. It's a crochet pattern, right? And I'm like, oh, crochet, it'll be quick. And for whatever reason, it's a slog, I guess. It's just like, it's a shawl. I can't remember the name of it. I don't have it in front of me. It's a very nice shawl, and it's done using kind of Afghan stitch techniques, which were new to me, so that, that was partly why I picked it, and partly it was because it was, just interesting structurally. And I've been working on it for over a year. I'll pick it up and work on it for like an hour and then put it down. Like, I can't take it for more than that. I think I'm going to rip it out. And, the finished object is really nice. I'm just not enjoying the process at all.
That's kind of the way I feel with that one. I mean, I really like the pattern and the yarn, but I'm just not sure it's what I should be doing right now.
It might be something you come back to later, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I should probably look in my stash and find something else, because I collected quite a stash, because every time I go to a, I can join one of the deep stash things now, because I've been collecting.
Oh, honey, it's so cute. You think you're like 1 or 2 bins of yarn is deep stash.
It's just one right now.
Yeah, see? Please. I could knit a house cozy, okay?
I should probably try socks. I don't know how hard the socks are, but that's one of my things is I want to make socks, and I purchased a few different sock yarns.
Yeah,
because I want to make socks.
You can knit socks out of any weight yarn. I think that first pair of socks. Did I get you more than one pair of socks?
Just that one.
Just that one. That's knit out of worsted weight socks.
Is it really?
No, it was a Patton's.
I like
wool,
that.
Actually.
I like the socks.
Very durable stuff for thick wool socks. I have to say, I knit a pair for myself in a different color, and they're like indestructible. They're awesome.
Yeah, I like my socks.
Yeah.
I have to say one thing, and this has nothing to do with yarn, but I have like sheepskin rugs, and I washed them the other day in soak.
The soak wash.
Mm-hmm.
I was just about to ask you how you washed them because I've got a couple sheepskins now.
Well, I would not recommend doing soap wash. I've already washed these a couple times, and I've always used like the camp soap. I don't know what that is. Like, you get it at the Dick's Sporting Goods, that kind of place.
Yeah.
REI. It's just a camp soap, biodegradable.
Oh, like for bathing in the stream or whatever.
Yeah, and that worked really well. I used the soap, and it made the hides hard. I know. I was like surprised. So I think I'm gonna have to condition the leather on them.
There's
So it works really well on wool. I'm not so sure it's made for leather.
well, leather is a different thing. There is a product, and I can't remember what company makes it, but there is a product that's made specifically for washing chaps, like horseback riding chaps, which are split hide or smooth leather in some cases.
Yeah.
And there's a wash product and there's a conditioner product, and that's probably what you're missing is like a conditioner step. But
yeah,
it's funny that your camp soap worked fine and the soap didn't. I mean, how
Isn't that
different
weird?
could it be, really?
I don't know. Unless I did something different when I washed it. I don't think I did, but who knows?
It also depends. I guess we don't have any idea what these things are made of. So
Yeah, I don't know about
there might be a difference in pH or something like this, or
Yeah, I was thinking that the soap is maybe made to, if there's any oil, to pull it out, where a camp soap doesn't, I don't think.
yeah, I don't know. Some wool wash products have lanolin in them, but I don't think soak does. And you might have better luck with one that has lanolin in it.
That's true. I was out of camp soap, and I'm like, well, I'll just use soap because I've used it on my wool products.
Yeah, it's great on wool products and unmentionables. Yep. Okay, moving on. So my work's in progress. They're off to my side here. I've not really been doing very much knitting recently, but I have been doing a lot of wool prep. I've washed several fleeces, and I've been doing some combing. These are Luette mini combs, double row of teeth. They're little guys, and I want to say they were like $90 or $100, something in that range. I've heard somewhat pointy. And they're pretty closely set teeth, so they work reasonably well. They work pretty well for finer wool stuff. And what I've got here in my little box is a CBM fleece that I bought at Maryland Sheep and Wool some years ago. And it varies in length. There's some different pieces, but anyway. And it is because it is CBM, which stands for California Variegated Mutant. It varies in color a little bit. You see there's some darker places, and this might not be the best representation, but there's some some darker grays and some lighter grays and some patches of stark white.
Looks like a little bit of brown.
And yeah, there's a little bit of brown, and there's like sun-kissed tips on there where they're kind of bleached out to a yellowy color. But CVM, it's kind of a fine wool. I don't know if it classifies. I don't remember if it classifies as fine wool or if it classifies as like a down wool. I'd say it's more like a down wool based on the crimp. Can you see it?
Yeah, a little bit.
It's a little bit crazy, but the fibers themselves are very, very, very gossamer fine, like spider silk.
Yeah, really, really fine.
Maybe not as fine as some of the finest merinos, but it's very fine, and it's pretty soft, and it's nice and spongy. It's clean. You can paw it.
It is very clean.
And so I've been doing a lot of combing. This bag is full up to here of poof. There's some poof.
Yeah, those are so pretty.
Aren't they awesome?
Yeah.
They're so satisfying.
Yeah. They look like velvet.
So they're just, you know, when I pull them off the combs and then I attenuate them. So they're basically ready to go, ready to be spun up. And so I'm not sure what got me into working on this fleece. But on the subject of fleece, Tour de Fleece starts tomorrow. We're recording today is July 4th, and Tour de Fleece starts tomorrow on July 5th. And if you're not familiar with this is it's an event that I don't know, maybe it started with Ravelry or maybe it started before, but spinners will, while the Tour de France is going on, which is of course where the bike race, right? While that's going on, the spinners play along with their wheels too, and so it's a big thing on Ravelry. There's a group for Tour de Fleece, and a lot of the so that's the main group, but there's also like wild card teams that are maybe like teams that are using a specific wheel or spinning a specific fiber or something like that, or just local teams that will you know, quote unquote compete, but really you set goals for yourself and you try to do it. And some of the teams have rules and some don't. I'm joining the raw fleece team, and so the raw fleece team, obviously the objective is to spin wool that you bought as raw fleece and processed yourself. You don't have to do all of the steps during the tour, but it just has to be fleece that you bought and processed yourself. And so I was going to spin this, which is a long wool fleece. I don't know what breed it is. I think it's a crossbred, but I bought this at Maryland Sheep and Wool from one of the vendors, a nice lady who is from Lincoln, Massachusetts. She comes every year, but she said she might not be coming next year because she's getting older and it's kind of a long drive. But she always has lovely, lovely things. So I got this from her this year, and this has been washed too. And I was thinking about making this into a lane splitter skirt, which I've never knitted a skirt before. So that was my plan. And so I will spin this fiber. I don't know if I'll actually make that pattern. We'll see how it comes out when I'm finished spinning it. No, this is something else.
It looks different, yeah.
Yeah, it's quite a bit different. You see the crimp is a lot bigger,
yeah.
And the really texture is a lot different. I think it probably has a bit of sheen to it, and it's
long,
slightly different color, yeah. And I think this was a young sheep. I don't know much about this one except that it was a CBM fleece. And anyway, so this is my Tour de Fleece fleece. Although I will probably continue working on this one, and I might do something else as well. So the tour runs starting, like I said, from July 5th, which by the time you see this, it will probably be a week later. Sorry. Anyway, so it starts tomorrow from our perspective and runs to 20-something. I can't remember what day exactly of July. Like I said, people just set their own goals and work towards their goals. And you can participate officially or unofficially, but I thought it would be nice if we had a little group in the DropStitches podcast rivalry group. Now, we're not officially a Tour de Fleece team, so pretty much anything goes. So to me, that means if you want to spin, great. If you want to knit, great. If you want to weave, fine. Whatever. Just decide what you want to do and have a go at it and tell us about it and post some pictures. And anybody who participates in our group, you get a chance at, we have some prizes. And so let me show you our prizes. Okay, so for people who are participating in the spinning portion of the event, the really pointy things. Let's move this. So Joanna Spring of Knit Spin Farm podcast and Etsy shop, there's her tag, has donated to us this lovely bat, which is called Violets at My Feet, and I'm not going to unroll it, but we've got, it's 3 ounces. There's Angelina, Blueface Lusseter, Corriedale, Finn, Merino, Sari Silk, and Silk Noil. And the Silk Noils look like they're little orange blips, and there's some little blue-purple threads, which are the Sari Silk, and then just this lovely blend of like lavender purples and little pops of yellow orange going on there. Look at the end of that bat. That's the best shot right there. That's the money shot. That's right. Get some better light. Okay. Anyway.
I forgot about lighting.
Yeah, we're not fantastic with the lighting.
Yeah, we didn't even turn the light on. Hopefully you can actually see us.
Cheers. It's like a dark bar in here. Drunk chicks and everything. Barflies. Anyway, so this is the prize for anybody, for the people who are participating in the spinning portion of the event. And we don't really have much in the way of rules, like I said. Just post something. Share with us what you're up to, and you get a chance at this prize. And I can tell you from experience, Joanna's bats are really pleasant to spin because they're not coarse, but yet they're woolly, if that makes sense. You know, like, so a lot of times when people say, the reason I say that is because a lot of times when people say woolly, what they mean is it's itchy, and they're not itchy. So she's very good at blending the fibers to get you a nice balance of something that has body and tooth to it without being hippie-like. I don't know. The words are not my friends today.
You mean like a Maine fisherman?
Yeah, it's not like a coarse Aran sweater kind of a thing. It's, you know, it's.
I wonder what a Maine fisherman does, or whoever, you know,
I have no idea.
is allergic to wool. How do they stay warm?
I don't know. But you know what? I don't think, especially nowadays, that can't be nearly as mean as the horses that are allergic to
grass.
Clover. And yeah. What do you do with an animal that's supposed to graze all day and it can't eat half of what's in the pasture? I don't have that, but I know people that do.
That's sad.
You know, they spend so much money on vet bills. It's just insane. I heard about this one chick who had this horse. She had to like get some kind of respirator thing for her horse because his allergies were so bad.
Oh my gosh.
What kind of cruel joke is that?
I know. That's sad. I've known people with dogs who are allergic to grass, and their dogs, they can go outside to go, to the bathroom. That's it. They can't go outside because they're allergic to grass, and they come inside and then they're itching. And
what kind of life is that for a dog?
I know, and that's sad. It's hard enough when people have allergies. At least we can
I
take pills, and we have air conditioners or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We can become basement dwellers. Anyway, and for those of you who are maybe knitting or weaving, I have a skein here of some rainbow action. I can't say that.
Aslan trends.
Okay, natural luxury yarns, and kettle hand dyed collection. It's 3.5 ounces, made in Argentina. It's 85% wool and 15% polyamide, 175 yards. I had another skein of this that was green, and I made a scarf called the Shrieking Eels scarf, like the Shrieking Eels from The Princess Bride. That was supposed to be the inspiration, and it's just a narrow triangle. Like you start at one end and you increase down till you have used half, well, probably less than half your yarn because it has a little fringe on it, and then you decrease back out to the other point, and then you put a few, like it has 5 fringes in the middle, and then fringes on the points. And then I wear it so that the fringes in the middle are here, and then the ends are wrapped around. And so one skein did that scarf, and so I can tell you with confidence, this skein will make a scarf of that type. Or you could combine it with other things, or make a hat, or other things like that. And it's a single, and I like it. I like wearing my scarf. So, and it's got a lot of different colors in it. You guys probably can't see it terribly well, but it's got like, it's got pinks, and it's got some teal, and it's got a little bit of a spring green kind of chartreuse thing going on there, and some other little yellow, and so it's got a lot of colors on it. So probably like that kind of thing would probably work well for this too. Anyway,
it's not itchy.
Yeah,
Soft.
it shouldn't be.
Kind of bouncy.
Yeah, it's a merino, and it's a single. Like I said, I think I said that.
Yeah. Yeah, single looks very different.
Yeah.
It looks like dreadlocks.
I think it is also felted a little bit. It feels like it probably. Now that I know what that feels like. Anyway, but this is our prize for anybody that submits something that isn't spinning. Just because I know some of you probably don't spin, and I want you all to be able to participate in the fun too. So we have already a thread in the Ravelry group, so anything you want to post pictures, you get entered. And if you post about goals and then meet those goals, you get extra brownie points. And if you post a picture of yourself wearing a mask, then that is extra brownie points too. But I don't know if we're going to have extra prizes for those things or not. That was just the way the discussion went in the group already. So you are encouraged to screw around and have fun with it. And oh hey, post a picture of your beverage. Anyway, so that's all I had on my list. Do you have anything else you want to talk about?
That is it.
Okay.
All right. We'll see you.
Happy summer, everybody.
Yeah, happy summer, and we'll see you on Ravelry shoot.
Yeah, discussions. We should say that, yeah. You can find us. Hey, look, a hummingbird. Sorry. Squirrel. You can find us on Ravelry at the DropStitches podcast. DropStitches podcast group on Ravelry, and of course our blog, which is DropStitches podcast also, and that's and we post on YouTube.
And hopefully we'll see you in about 4 weeks.
Yep.
All right.
Have
Bye.
fun. Stay cool.